it's Marian. Welcome to 25 Days of Plantmas. This is a special Mom Raises Life holiday series where I'll be talking about at least one of my plants per day, every day during Vlogmas. I'll be sharing with you the plant's journey with me ever since I've gotten it, all of our highs and lows, and of course how I care for and propagate the plant. So let's go check my plant vent calendar and see which one of my plants I'll be sharing with you today. Today is day 22 of 25 Days of Plantmas. And the plantmas of the day is my thaumatophyllum bipinnatifidum. Alright. Okay. So we're in a different setup for today's plantmas because I am featuring my thaumatophyllum bipinnatifidum, which is too large and can't fit in my room. So it's currently in our living room. And I got this, I think, early summer, and it was also a rescue plant, but to be honest, it wasn't really that damaged. When I got it, it probably had like a few leaves that are dried up, and it was also being overwatered, so kind of like with the fiddle fig and the monstera, I just let it dry out when I got it, and then I just been watering it regularly. Since I already had a lot of experience with the fiddle fig and the monstera, I just gave it the same care. When it comes to watering, I water it between 7 to 10 days during the growing season. Now it goes to about 15 to 20 days, and I just put a gallon of water in it, let it dry out, and that's pretty much it when it comes to watering it. And for the most of the summer I had it growing outside just because I wanted to really grow big. But the thing with this though, this is a prolific grower. It doesn't take much to make it grow. Just give it enough light and water it consistently. It's good to go. And as far as fertilization, I just use the same fertilizer that I use for my fiddle fig and for my monstera, which is a 3:1:2 NPK ratio fertilizer, and I do it probably during the growing season every other week, but I have stopped since the end of October. And the only issue I had with this was when I moved it back in the house during the fall, so that, you know, as we transition into colder weather, it was put next to Chinese evergreen that had a lot of thrips and God knows what not. This has been suffering with thrips on and off, but luckily though, the good thing about it, I could just like wipe it off and it's pretty much good to go. I haven't used any neem oil or any insecticide, but it keeps coming back because it's still right next to the Chinese evergreen that is still infected. I already took out the Chinese evergreen because it looks pretty bad and it keeps infecting this plant, so I don't want to deal with that anymore. But now I look at it, it has like a thrips again, or aphids. I'm not really sure which one, but it has something. But the good thing though, it doesn't really affect the plant that much, except maybe because I catch it right away, so I don't let it affect it. But that's pretty much the issue that I had with it. But this one, like I said, is a prolific grower. I actually have pruned this several times already. I made several cuttings from this, and the great thing about the cuttings from this plant is you could put them in water and it would last you for a month, maybe even 2 months. For us, it lasted up to 2 months, to be honest. And because of that, I tried doing a holiday DIY using the leaves of my thaumatophyllum bipinnatifidum as a base, seeing that they last long, but when they're not in water, they don't really last that long. And I think my holiday DIY lasted about maybe a week before it started wilting, and I also spray painted it, which was also a mistake. And but otherwise, if you just make cuttings out of this, you want to give it to friends, or you just use it to decorate your house, the leaves last pretty long. As far as propagation, I haven't really propagated this, except I was able to cut one with a node and brought it to a plant swap, but for the most part it has just been growing from the base. It hasn't grown like the monstera yet that has like nodes. I don't think this does it. It might, I don't know. The only time that I saw it was that with a small cutting, because the leaves of this plant is not always this big. Sometimes they're small ones, and I think I actually over pruned this. Like there's 2 stems, I like cut all the foliage, which was like, I was so scared because now it doesn't have the ability to photosynthesize, but now it's trying to push out new leaves to help it photosynthesize. So I hope that works out pretty okay. And as you can see, there's so much aerial roots growing out already, and this needs to be repotted badly. And I should have repotted it during the growing season, but either I was scared to do so or lazy to do so, just because it was a big plant, and I think I was just scared to do it at first, and then it got too late for me to actually repot it because it was towards the end of the growing season. But Like I said, it hasn't stopped growing and we're in the middle of December already. I hope I don't have to repot it now and I just wait until the next growing season for me to repot it. As far as watering it, I water it now between 15 to 20 days. During the growing season, it was between 7 to 10 days. Fertilization was every other week. I don't fertilize it now. I stop at the end of November. And as far as propagation, aside from the cuttings for decorative, I haven't really, and the one that I did for a plant swap, and I honestly don't know if that plant survived because I wasn't sure if it was a node, but I thought it was a node, so whatever. My plans for this plant in the future, this grows really wide, so you really need space for this, or you just have to keep pruning it like I do. So what I'm gonna do is when I repot it, I'll probably separate some of the big stems, and I either am gonna sell it during the spring yard sale in my community, or I would give it to a friend. So we'll see what's gonna happen then, or just put it in other places of the room and have some of the stems or the plants grow outside in our backyard or in our front yard, because this is pretty outside and it grows really fast and really large if I let it grow outside. So I think that's what I'm gonna do next growing season, split it, have some stay inside and have some stay outside, and actually plant on the ground and see just what happens. But yes, this is my thaumatophyllum bipinnatifidum. I have never learned the common name for this one. And when it was sold, it was actually sold as philodendron, but I learned from Nick Pileggi that it's actually a thaumatophyllum bipinnatifidum. And once I learned how to say that, it just rolls off my tongue now, and I'm really proud of it. But yeah, but I never really got the common name for this one. I think at one point it might have been the philodendron lichidity split, but I'm not sure, because at one point people were talking about that plant and now they don't, and I'm not sure if it's quite the same plant, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I could say about this plant. It's a pretty easy care plant, even though it's very large, and it just really gives your house a jungle feel. So if you could ever get your hands on this one, it's not a rare plant, but it's not very common either, at least in my area. So if you do get your hands on this one, do so, because it's a really beautiful plant. It gives a very much a jungle vibe. I am also going to show you how I clean the leaves of this plant, especially when it has thrips like it has now. Some paper towels and this solution, which is basically just water, lemon juice, and coconut oil. And that's just what I use to clean the leaves of the thaumatophyllum bipinnatifidum and also get rid of thrips, aphids, or any pests it might have on its leaves. That's our Plantmas story of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of 25 Days of Plantmas. And if you miss any episodes, all of them will be included in the playlist that links up in the card and down in the description. Thanks again for watching. I see you, I appreciate you, and have a plentiful holiday season, everyone. Bye!